The second day in a row, Alex Murdaugh was on the stand.
The former South Carolina attorney is accused of killing his wife and his son at the family's hunting estate in June of 2021. He's been in cross-examination from state prosecutors since yesterday afternoon.
Our Taggart Houck's been following this all throughout the day. He joins us in studio. Tag, what are you seeing here?
Yeah, well, Aaron and Sydney, actually just a recent development here within the last 15 minutes. Alex Murdaugh got off the stand after 2 very long days of answering questions from not just the prosecutors, but also the defense. We started with the defense, and you went to prosecutors, then again the defense, then back to prosecutors. But at the center of all this was a video at the dog kennel. His voice had been identified on that, not just through one witness, multiple witnesses who were very close to Murdaugh, but he had denied that he had been there in the first place. We also should mention that prosecutor Creighton Waters had asked specifically about a portion of the interview the night after the murders, at the scene of the murders, where Murdaugh appeared to indicate somebody upset with Paul from that 2019 boat crash must have been responsible for killing Paul and Maggie. The defense, though, argues that based on trajectory, the shots fired at Maggie, the shooter, would have been anywhere from 5'2" to 5'4". Waters asked Murdaugh if he still felt that way about the murders.
I can tell you for a fact that the person or people who did what I saw on June the 7th, they hated Paul Murdaugh, and they had anger in their heart. And that is the only reason that somebody could be mad at Paul like that and hate him like that.
So what you're telling this jury is that it's a random vigilante.
That's your
the 12-year-old, the 12-year-old 5'2" people that just happened to know that Paul and Maggie were both at Moselle on June 7th, that knew that they would be at the kennels alone on June the 7th, that knew that you would not be there, but only between the times of 8:49 and 9:02, that they show up without a weapon, assuming that they're going to find weapons and ammunition there, that they commit this crime during that short time window, and then they travel the same exact route that you do around the same time to Alameda. That's what you're trying to tell this jury?
You got a lot of factors in there, Mr. Waters, all of which I do not agree with, but some of which I do.
Murdaugh also said he lied about being at the scene the night of the murders because he was paranoid of SLED. Waters made a point to mention that while Murdaugh says he has been truthful with every other piece of information in this case, he lied about being at the scene minutes before Maggie and Paul were killed and never corrected that account in numerous law enforcement interviews. The prosecution, though, spent a large part of today continuing to paint a clear picture about the lies that Murdaugh had told over the years. Some of those lies to clients, which he would then get millions of dollars from, but also lies to some of his closest friends and also family members. We'll talk a little bit more about all of this from today in the next hour.